Okay, today is Thursday. It is 9 p.m. It is April 23rd. Okay. Sometimes sometimes what I want to be is a fly on the wall. Okay? Fly on the wall. All right? Why do I want to be the fly on the wall? Because I want to be the fly on the wall of a room where a professionally consistently profitable trader uh, is doing uh, their job, okay, as a consistently profitable day trader, okay? Because I want to be the fly on the wall watching that person make money from the market. That's why, okay? So I thought about this for the past couple days, and what I did was I reviewed the YouTube videos with a brand new perspective from the inside out. Okay? I was essentially for the past 5.5 years, what I have been doing is is viewing the trading world from outside in. Okay, I was viewing it from the outside in. What that meant was if I were to look at for instance, um, if I were to look at uh, I would say, well, let's see. If I were to look at a walnut, okay, walnut has a hard outer shell, but inside it has the morsels of. Apparently, it's supposed to be helpful for your brain. Okay, keep this uh, keep your mind fresh and things like that. Apparently, there's some chemicals in there. Okay, there are some helpful chemicals that retains your memory and things like that, right? And so it's like a walnut, and then I'm studying it. And initially, trading was like looking into the looking at a walnut from outside in. And of course, I couldn't see anything. I couldn't see what's inside. Okay, until I crack it open, and then I look at it, and then close it up, and I look at it from the inside out. Okay, then I start to review things. Okay, so I keep talking about this. So trading has been when I'm trading by myself, despite the fact that I'm learning from Al Brooks, is that it is a discovery of something that is physically out there but hasn't been documented to my satisfaction. Okay, and so that is, and I liken that experience as like a a scientist trying to describe what oxygen is for the first time. Okay, but now because it's out there, it's describing it. It's somewhere. It has its properties. It's being characterized. It's so so a scientist would have to like put whatever it is and then analyze it and see it and analyze it. Does it have specific gravity? Is it mixed with something else? What does it have that makes up this thing called oxygen? Okay. And it has to figure out what the behavior is to come up with the totality of the meaning behind what oxygen is. And I thought about that, and it must have been incredibly difficult for people to understand what that discovery is. And so it is possible for generations and generations to pass on the discoveries leading up to what oxygen is to understand what it is. And it may not have occurred in a single generation because it was looking from the outside in. But now that people understand it, it's readily understood what it is because it is it is comprised of it's comprised of documents that have been created to describe in totality of what oxygen is. And so I thought about that too. And as a trader, I was thinking that I was doing the same thing, and it would be very difficult for me to become a consistently profitable day trader because of that fact. Because I was essentially what I was doing is what I was doing essentially is a studying and 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 understanding what it is, okay, what it is that trading is, what that consistency is, okay. And until I cracked open this walnut called day trading, I could not see what what all things comprised is existence, okay. What is that consistency, okay. But now that I have cracked open that walnut called the market, and I have observed it, and I have practiced it, and I've traded it, and I've observed it again, and then replayed it over and over again, I realize, I realized what was inside, okay, the content of it, okay. And so when these people, when these professional traders, they're on YouTube and they talk about it, something that I could not see. They talk about it. They talk about things, but there was some knowledge that was, even though it was delivered, I could not understand, because that portions of that knowledge that that person was talking about, I could not understand because I was not inside the market. Okay, the internals of knowledge of understanding what that is. So there's a in corporate culture, there's something called a glass ceiling. Okay, you cannot get on the other side. You don't know what's on the other side. You just see people who are in there, but you don't know. You just like people who are successful traders. They're in there, they are there, but you just don't know how they're in there or why they're in there, and that's why they're in the glass ceiling, because they're on the other side. But I cannot see it because I only see what I'm able to observe. And so in trading, when I see these people who are profitable, I cannot see what's behind, because I cannot fit together these things that describes what a successful trader is. Okay. Now when I reviewed when I reviewed the YouTube videos of these successful people who are talking about it, I can see it now. I've the videos that I've seen, the chat with traders, the all these channels that are interviewing these professional traders. Now I can see why they say that, why they do that, and why they're successful, and how those fit together. So there's this guy who has like tattoos all over his body, okay, except his face, but he's got tattoos like up to he's covered in tattoos, okay. I mean, he's got tattoos everywhere, okay? But he's living in Dubai or somewhere around there, because he's a very successful trader. So he was having a conversation with another trader who's successful. And so apparently this 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 trader, successful trader, uh has a different perspective about a particular setup, which the setup is essentially the same setup but has a different way of trading. So this his friend, who doesn't have tattoos but is very tall, talks about the breakout, okay? So he's on his YouTube channel, he's describing about how he trades the breakout, okay? So the price moves in and then enters into the liquidity zone where the price sits there for a little bit, and then when he sees a breakout occurs, then he takes it and runs with it with the breakout. Then his friend, who has tattoos up to his neck, chimes in and says, well, the retailers will do that. The retail traders will do that. And so what he says is this: I take the opposite side. And and his friend looks at him and goes, oh, yeah, right, right. Okay? So what that means, see, I didn't understand what he was talking about. I didn't understand it. But now I understand it, because I'm looking at it, I'm seeing things from the inside out. Okay? So what happens is there is a rejection that occurs. Okay, there's two manifestations, there's three possibilities of price action. Okay, the price is going to continue moving up at the point where there's support and resistance is, or it's going to sit in that support and resistance area where the liquidity is, and it's going to move sideways, or it's going to reach that support and resistance, hit the liquidity, and then bounce right back. Okay? So what he was talking about, the guy with the tattoos, is that it's a rejection of a breakout. So he's trading the rejection of a breakout because he has some information that he's able to distinguish between a price that moves, crosses through, and the price that moves down, because there's only a professional is able to see the specific characteristics of price action near that area of support or resistance to distinguish between a price that is going to break out and the price that's going to be rejected and brought down. Okay? So those are the two different perspectives. And these are the professionals. I didn't understand it when they're talking about it. I still don't understand Al Brooks, because he's way out there. He's not making it easy. The knowledge that he has, I'm not within the scope of his sphere of knowledge. I'm not there yet. I am not munching on the walnuts of his knowledge yet. Because I still don't understand it. Okay, so what I noticed that there is so it's I suppose it's like there's this movie there's a movie called like Command and Conquer or something like that, and so this captain was having a conversation with these drunk sailors, and he's talking about the world and how the world works. And so the decisions that people make, because mankind is mankind, full of sin and have fallacies in life, and so nobody is perfect except Jesus, right? And so the captain, what's his name? What is his name? He was in the movie Gladiator too, right? He was in the Gladiator movie. Russell Crowe. So he says to him, you have to make a choice. You have to make a decision based on the lesser evil, okay? Because he's talking about the evils. Weevil. Apparently the weevils will burrow through things. So I, a weevil, okay? I am a weevil, has burrowed through the walnut because I was not powerful enough, but I was tenacious enough. If I was smart enough, I would have cracked it open like 5 years ago. Okay, I would have used a sledgehammer, the equivalent of whatever force that I needed to do in order to figure this thing out. 5.5 years ago, the first day, I would have taken whatever that market sledgehammer and cracked it open and figured out what the inside is. But I was not smart enough. Okay? So what I had to do is take this very, very minute brain that I have, focus it so intensely, okay, as to liken the experience as being a weevil, okay, a small, infinitesimally small weevil, a soft weevil, except for the teeth is very hard, and the teeth is hard enough that it was able to chew through the outer tough layer of the walnut and chew through to the inside, okay? And then creating that, focusing my intense low IQ brain, okay? And chewed through inside. Now I'm inside, okay? And I'm looking at the world, the trading world, from a completely different perspective, from the perspective of a consistently profitable trader. And so now it's confidential. Okay, this information is confidential. Okay, it is a confidential thing. That is why being a fly on the wall, okay? Now I feel like I am the fly on the wall, okay? Reviewing these confidential documents, the documents that I was unable to see despite the fact that it was plainly visible. because I was able to chew through using my very, very low IQ, but focused so intensely that it was able to chew through the walnut and then get to the center of it to understand what's inside. Okay. So what I noticed is that the information is out there, but is confidential. I cannot see it, even though it's right there. It's whatever the information is. It's out there. It's there. It's there. The information is out there, but because I'm on the outside, I'm unable to fully grasp onto what people are saying, what these professionals are talking. For instance, okay, so this guy's Etienne. He has his own firm or something, and he trades too. And he talks about this. He says that he had a $35,000 drawdown, and so he describes this. He says this, from my experience, what I've seen is true. Okay, he says this. He says that you don't want to oversize. Okay, so that you can get it back. You don't want to do that. Okay, and you don't want to take risky trades. You're totally defeating the purpose of trading your game. And so what he said was this: trade your game, trade smaller, okay, until you regain your confidence. I think that's what he said. And so that's the right solution. That's the right thing. But when I didn't understand how to trade, that statement never stuck. I never realized it. It despite the fact that it was so true and so valid, I didn't understand it because there was nothing that I could associate within my internals, okay, within my internals to equate what he said as being a true and valid thing because I was unable to see. Okay, so all these information out there, there's quite a few things that are valid information, like that instance of this guy. I mean, he's a well-known guy. He's not an academic like Al Brooks is, but the success that he has, okay, clearly demonstrates that he is a very, very successful trader. Okay, that he's able to take one trade and then buy a supercar. Okay, and so he does that. He does that if he wants to. Okay, okay, because he's already equipped to do something like that, right? Trade that way, right? And so, essentially, on YouTube, there's confidential information out there in plain sight. Okay, it's hidden in plain sight. Okay, and I don't have to be a fly on the wall to see what's going on because I've burrowed through. Okay, I burrow through. The weevil of my mind has burrowed through to the thick layer of virtually impossible to penetrate, the walnut knowledge of Wall Street. Oh, see, Walnut, Wall Street, right? So the confidential thing is out there in plain sight. Okay, I hope this makes sense. I had to describe it. I had to document this within my journey to disclose what's really going on. Okay, so I put a few things in there. It's like being a fly on the wall. It's like a walnut. It's a weevil, and it's confidential. Okay, it's confidential. I pray it makes sense.